right, so this is the new Akai MPK Mini MarkV. We're going to go over a few details and a few things, and we're going to discuss on who this is for. So let's get to it.
Bolo!
Man, Akai is on a serious run right now. They got the MPC Live 3 that just dropped, and now they just dropped this MPK Mini MarkV, which just comes in two color styles. It comes in the traditional black, and it comes in this retro color right here. Man, they got some serious things going on. But what I wanted to do today is talk about who this is for. Now, I know there was a whole bunch of videos that came out when this was debuted, and they were talking about a lot of specs and everything like that. But what I'm going to do is talk about who this is for and why you should, or why you probably don't need to get it. Okay, I'm just going to keep it real with you guys. Now, I was supposed to come out with a video on the day that this dropped, but due to shipping issues, I couldn't do that. And then plus a lot of people did do a lot of great videos already discussing a lot of the configuration and what it can do. But what I wanted to do is come from a different angle and talk about, of course, who this is for and why you should get it or why you should not get it. Because at the end of the day, I want to be 100% biased when it comes to this type of equipment. Now, you guys know I'm an MPC type of a guy. You guys know I love Akai and what they do, but I want to keep it honest with you guys when it comes to connectivity with this particular MIDI controller. So the first thing that I do want to talk about is the connectivity with the MPC Live 3. I know that's one thing that you guys are going to ask me about. Does it connect directly to the MPC Live 3? Which it does, kind of. Okay, it does connect to the MPC Live 3. However, you cannot connect it with the supply cable that this comes with. Now, this is a USB-C cable on both ends, and when you connect this board to the MPC Live 3 with this particular connection, doesn't work. Does not work at all. However, when I use the USB-C cable to the USB Type A cable, and I plugged everything up, it did work. However, none of the transport controls worked. Pretty much only the keys and the pads work, which I find that kind of weird a little bit, because I would have liked that to work, because, it'll be cool to have a better ecosystem when it comes to controlling your MPC devices. Kind of like how the machine is. Like if I plug in my M32 keyboard into my Machine Plus, I can control it with the transport. Now with this controller plugged into your MPC, you can't use none of the transport stuff, but you can use the keys and the pads. So, and the the mod and the pitch wheels and the octave up and octave down works as well. So it's not like a total loss or nothing like that, but that stuff works too. Now it is a little bummer that you can't use it, but the cool thing about it is if you are traveling on the road and you want to have a nice keyboard to work with your MPC, this is a good board to have, because it is very compact. And this new model right here, the MarkV model, is slightly bigger than this right here, the Mark III model. Like the keys are actually bigger and the controller is actually bigger because it has more stuff on the new MarkV controller. But even though that they packed a lot of stuff on here, they still found a way to make these keys a little bit bigger. And to me personally, it gives it a little bit better feel if you're somebody who actually plays the keys. So yeah, this is a good traveling companion to take with any one of your MPCs that does not have a keyboard. So this would be great with the MPC X, the MPC X Special Edition, the MPC 1, the MPC 1 Plus, the MPC Live 2, the MPC Live, and the MPC Live 3. So yeah, this would be a pretty good addition to take with it, especially if you're like traveling and moving around. Now, one thing I do like about this board is they do have the mod wheels and everything on here, and they don't have that little joystick thing on here. Like I like how they put this and implemented this back onto the actual controller. So that's actually a very cool thing. And I like how they put a lot of these buttons on here as well, because it's very easy to kind of go through and select things, and you don't really have to do a lot of menu diving with the computer and stuff like that. Now let's talk about who this is really for, okay? This controller, I believe, is best for people who are using this with their computers and with their laptops. Okay, just to be totally honest. Now, the cool thing about it is they gave us some scripts for this to work with some of the popular programs. We got scripts for Ableton, we got scripts for FL Studio, and we have scripts for Logic/GarageBand. So it does work on GarageBand as well. And they make it super easy. When you register the product and everything, it'll take you to the download page. You can download the scripts. You can just open them up and install them the same way like how you would install any type of software, and the scripts will be embedded. So as soon as I did that, I opened up Logic Pro and everything worked perfectly. Now, the real reason why I say that this is made for people who have computers and laptops is because of the sounds that comes with this MIDI controller. Now, for 99 bucks, you get this, and you get over 1,000 sounds that comes with the Studio Instrument Collection. And I mean some very good sounds that works with this MIDI controller. And another cool thing about it is this controller works in conjunction with the Studio Instrument Collection. You can use the controller to select sounds, and they have macro controls on here to where you can go ahead and do whatever you need to do to make the sound how you want to make it. So yes, not only can this thing control your programs, it can control the sounds, and that way you won't have to do too much menu diving when it comes to actually using this controller with some of the popular DAWs. So yeah, if you're somebody who has a laptop and you're on the go and you may use like Logic, or you use Ableton, or you use FL Studio, this right here can control the program, and it can control the Studio Collection sounds, which I believe is very dope. And like I said before, you can get all of this for $99. 99 bucks. Unbelievable. Now, I had to go ahead and plug this thing in because this thing does look good because all the, the backlit buttons and everything, and it has that color menu up here. And I forgot to tell you guys that this does have a regular 6-pin MIDI input on here, and it has a sustain button on here as well. But let's talk about who this is not for, okay? If you are a standalone user, just use your MPCs in standalone, and you're not going to be using the sounds, or you're not going to be using your computer that much, I'm just going to be honest with you, you probably don't need it. Now, I'm not saying don't get it, but you probably won't need it because pretty much any MIDI controller works with the MPC as long as you have a USB-A to go inside of the MPC. You won't need this. Okay, but you can just use whatever board that you already have. But other than that, this thing still looks good now. I ain't gonna lie, this thing looks good. So, like say for instance, like your MPC X Special Edition, if you have that, and then, you have this retro look along with the MPC X Special Edition, that, it kind of looks kind of good a little bit. But it's not gonna be needed, okay? But if you are going to be working inside of the box with your computer and everything, this will be pretty cool right here. Now, going back to actual transport controls being used with the MPC software. Unfortunately, when I hooked it up, it does not work directly with the MPC 3.6 software, or just the MPC 3 software, period. The transport controls do not work for it, and don't know why, but me just thinking, they probably want you to use your MPC with it because it actually works better when using your MPC. So if you're using the software in controller mode or whatever, it is way better to use it with the MPC rather than using it with a MIDI controller. It just does not work well with just a MIDI controller by itself. Even though this is made by Akai and it looks like it should work with the program, it just doesn't. And that's just the way it is right now, and that's the way it's always been. But just me even trying to use this with other MIDI controllers and kind of figuring some things out to have it to work like that, it's just best that if you have an MPC, or if you have like the studio controller or whatever that actually works for the software, it's just best to use that. I'm just going to be totally honest. It's best to use that. And I know some people are going to say, well, the machine, they have it to where their keyboards can work. Yes, their keyboards do work, but I'm just going to tell you right now, even with the machine stuff, it's best to use the actual Machine MK3 or your Machine Plus with the actual software. It just works better that way. And I'm just keeping it honest because I know some of y'all were going to bring that up even about Ableton and stuff like that. Now, Ableton, you don't necessarily have to use the push or nothing like that. That's an added bonus. But definitely with the MPC and the Machine, it's best to just go ahead and use the actual units along with the software. It's just a way better user experience with that. But it would have been dope if we at least had an option for the board to work with the, MPC 3.0 software, but it's never worked like that, really, to be honest with you. Yeah, but this thing is actually very dope. I actually use this with the software, with the VST that comes with it, with all the sounds. This thing works very well. We use the macros and everything. So when you want to go ahead and turn the macros on here on the knobs and everything works on the software. You can go ahead and use the little knob right here to go and scroll through sounds and everything. And, you can use a lot of the basic functions on here to use with your software as well. And it just makes it a better user experience, especially the programs that had the scripts in it. So it just makes things better. Now, I do have this working in Studio One. It does work in Studio One. I had to go through and program it a little bit, but it does work in Studio One. And if you have any other software to where you want this to work, all you have to do is just program it to work in there. It's not hard to do it if you kind of know what you're doing. And you can get this thing working very well. So I'm telling you guys right now, this is a very good compact MIDI controller with a lot of features on here that you can set up. And I think it'll be a great travel buddy for a lot of you guys. But like I said before, if you're like a standalone type of a user and you're not really going to be using the sounds and nothing like that inside of the box, you're not necessarily going to need it. But if you are somebody who is using, like I said, Logic Pro, FL Studio, Ableton, where the scripts are already in here and you're going to be using the included sounds in here, this will be a great move. So if you guys want to go ahead and pick this up, I will have a link in the video description. And I wanted to do a more in-depth video about this, but I got this thing a little late, so I really couldn't make the video I wanted to make. But I wanted to go ahead and talk about the positives and the very few negatives about this particular MIDI controller. So I want to know if you guys are considering getting this. Please let me know in the comment section and let me know what you guys think about this overall from the videos that you've already seen with the tech specs and all the good stuff in that. And yeah, let me know if you think this is going to be something that is going to be in your arsenal of production tools. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope you guys learned something from it. And like I always say, peace out.